All right. Last and perhaps least,
Probably, yeah,
near,
probably.
yeah, near. You have a certain series that have been making the
Another
rounds.
series that you
Like
took from me, Near. How dare you?
You offered this to
and when I,
me.
I know,
yeah,
but you also
and
took it
when I
from
say,
me.
yeah, when I say rounds on social media, I mean laps. I mean field and track. You
Yeah,
saw
dude,
like a
that's the
million tweets about
influence.
this.
That's the fucking worldwide influence that GoHands has. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, what new glorious GoHands masterpiece are you going to review for us today?
Yeah. So I watched. Fuck, man, this one's a mouthful too, huh? Um, Tsuihou sareta Tensei Juukishi wa Game Chishiki de Musou suru. Fucking,
Yes.
I
All,
hate this guy,
I
bro.
think the shortened version is just Jukishi, right?
Yeah,
Jukishi.
yeah. Also
Heavy
known
Knight.
as
Yep.
the Exiled Heavy Knight knows how to game the system. Um,
Yep.
which it's an isekai title. Um, and yeah, this is an isekai series from GoHands.
Yeah.
GoHands.
By the way,
This is
the
Near,
isekai part is
Near,
not what we're going to be discussing.
Near. Let's change that. Near,
Just
let's change that. This is an isekai series. What did you say? What did you say?
an isekai series by GoHands.
I will say an isekai series produced by GoHands. GoHands did not make this series.
Uh-huh. I mean,
well,
that's true for most anime, but yeah. Um, so yeah, the basic premise is it's an isekai series. So Tosa's gonna have to, I guess,
Oh, you want me to go over it?
well,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to, I guess, kind of explain some of this because the
All right.
series. I don't know if you watched the first episode at all. But I'll just go over the first episode and then you can kind of
All
fill
right.
in the blanks. So the first episode starts off with a 5 minute just random montage of action sequences that apparently have no correlation with anything that's happening in the story.
And that's
Um,
already where we got to the problem with this series. Jeez. Like,
um, so yeah, it just shows the characters kind of just like fighting a bunch of shit with no rhyme or reason, and um, it certainly happens. And then there's a random scene where the main character is a little boy, and he's reading a book, and he says some bullshit, and then the opening happens, which I'll get into the opening later. But then it kind of just cuts straight to the main character kind of receiving his class, right?
that's like an RPG.
Yes. So
yeah.
this is a series with skills and stats and
It's
classes and skill trees and yeah.
it's
Okay.
don't you know? It's a VR
Yeah,
world.
it's one of those. It's one of those. So he's receiving his class, and as he's receiving his class, the main character goes, "Wait a minute. This world is just like that video game I used to play. I must have been
Yeah.
reincarnated." So I don't know if this. I don't know if the source material, which by the way, this
Yeah.
is apparently a web manga original. I don't know if the source material does the same, where it just like doesn't show the original main character's life. It doesn't show him like dying and reincarnating or whatever. And it kind of just immediately jumps into this like in media res kind of, oh, I'm receiving my class and I guess I'm reincarnated kind of thing. But it's a bit jarring, to be sure, to kind of just be like, oh, by the way,
Do you love the name of the world Near?
I don't even remember what it was. It's so
Magic
generic.
World.
Yeah, it's just like Magic and Sword World or something. Um, and so yeah, he's receiving his class, and he's like, "Man, I sure hope I get my favorite class, the Heavy Knight." Um, and sure enough, he gets his favorite class, the Heavy Knight, and he goes, "Look, Dad, I got my favorite class, the Heavy Knight." And his dad goes, "What the fuck? This is the worst news I could have possibly received ever." And he beats the fuck out of him. Um, and basically disowns him and exiles him from the family. Um, and so the main character is like,
Okay.
"Damn, that sucks."
That's
And
why he's the
then
exiled heavy knight.
yeah, and then this other character comes in. What the fuck's her name? Oh yeah, Malice. Her name's Malice. Even though on Mall it says Maris, it's Malice. She comes in, and she's like, "Okay, I want my class now." And she gets I forget what it's gonna call it, like Master Swordsman or some shit.
Yep.
Um, and the lore dude is like, "Awesome, that's so cool. You're my daughter now." And
Because she's from the Branch family.
yeah, she's like some offshoot family.
Yeah.
And so he goes,
Yeah.
"You're my daughter now, and you're no longer my son. And if you use the family name, I'll fucking kill you, man. I will kill you dead." And so that's basically the premise. Because in this world, apparently defensive
It is a
classes
dungeon
are
crawl
like,
or what?
yeah.
Is it like a dungeon crawl? Okay.
So there's 2 episodes out.
It's pretty much an MMO.
I get
Nerd,
2
did you
helpings.
get
Okay.
both?
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I got 2 helpings of this. And it's the main, I guess, kind of like structure is basically him being like, "Damn, I guess nobody fucks with defensive classes in this world. I guess I'll just level on my own, right?" Um,
Yeah.
and it kind of goes through the kind of like game mechanics and process of like leveling and his skill tree. And it is pretty detailed in like how in depth it goes into in like him actually like making his build and like how the class actually works. And talking about why um it's like because the class that he has is like it's considered weak, right? Because it doesn't have offensive skills, right? It's like a tank, right?
Yeah.
And so it excels in like group content where you can um, pull the enemy's aggro, and then everybody else is supposed to deal damage, right?
Mhm.
But I guess in this world, like offensive classes are seen as just better because you can level faster solo, um, and it's just like easier to be an adventurer when you're like an offensive class. Uh, and so he's obviously finding it hard to get a party, and so he's kind of just like, well, fuck it, man. I'll just go on my own because leveling on your own is faster anyway because you don't have to share XP in a party, right? So he has to work his build in a way to where he can be like a solo, uh, you know, character basically, and still dish out damage, right? And so basically, the first skill that he gets is like I forget what they call it. It's like reflecting Aegis or something.
That's what they call it?
Yeah.
Something
Not
like that.
Rampart Reflection?
Yeah, I think that's it actually. Rampart reflection. Reflecting something, right? But it's
Yeah.
basically this big wall he puts up, right? And any
Oh,
monster that attacks it, um, it gets like
it's just Reflect, dude.
yeah, it's basically, but it's like it's got some stipulation to it to where like his defense has to be higher than the monster's attack stat. Like his defense stat has to be
Mhm.
higher than the monster's attack stat. Otherwise, the monster will break through the reflection and just deal
In
damage to
Yu-Gi-Oh
him.
terms, it's basically when your defense points are higher than the
Yeah,
attacker's
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Or like
attack
Um,
points,
Pokemon,
and
it's
the
like build
difference
team
is
level
dealt to you as
differences.
damage.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so if the monster's attack stat is lower than his defense stat, like the damage gets reflected, and that's basically like early on, that's like his only way of like dealing damage, right? And so
Mhm.
um the first episode is basically the initial setup, and then the second episode is kind of him uh working out some
Yeah,
of his early levels.
I will say I rewatched the first 5 minutes. What are they
Yeah.
doing?
I
What
have
are they
I
doing,
have no
dude?
idea, man.
Why
I
are
don't
they
know what.
spoiling like half this, like almost every major
Yeah,
fight in the series
yeah.
in the first five
Um
minutes? What the heck is this animation? Is
yeah, the
this
second
director doing?
episode is like him kind of like farming mobs because he comes across this like frog thing. I think they're called like Rabas, and um, he like basically one shots it with his reflecting, right? And then this other adventurer who I guess he's like he's a more offensive class, right? He
Okay.
like the other dude, I forget what the Ares, the dude that he has to help in the forest or whatever. He comes running and he's like, "Oh, I'm being chased by all these mobs, right? These like fucking level 1 mobs." And he's like, "I can't handle these on my own." And the main character's like, "Don't worry, I got this." And he just like casts the reflecting and he takes out a whole mob. Because I guess I guess all the mobs attacking at the same time don't matter. It's just like a stat check kind of thing. So he wipes them all out in one move, and then the dude's like, "Whoa, you're like so super cool and awesome, man. You want to party up?" And the main character's like, "No, not really." Which I don't know why he doesn't.
Is that
But
is that because he's like introverted or like what?
No, it's because
he explains in his like in his inner monologue, he's like, I don't want to share XP, right? Like I need to level up fast. I need to level up solo and get all
Oh,
XP,
okay.
right?
because he's his
Um,
class
Okay.
sucks, so he has to
yes,
go in a
because like
certain route.
because he talks about like in his experience, when he was like alive and not Iskai'd, and he played the game. I guess like the heavy knight class excels the most at high level, right? Once it's good, it's like it's full
Mm,
kit, right? And right now
yeah.
when he's low level, like he doesn't really have much to handle stuff. And so he needs to level up like as fast as possible. And I was thinking, like when I heard that, I was like, why wouldn't you just like, why doesn't everybody just power level in this universe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
Like
I don't.
well,
near,
I don't
they
know.
Because if
don't
you
know how to
die, you're
game the
killed.
system like he does. Yeah,
True, I guess.
he
Yeah.
doesn't have
Um.
supreme knowledge of Magic World
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he
he
does.
or like his class is one of the only ones with like stupid level restrictions. And then
I don't
everybody
know.
else is just like,
Oh
yeah, I
no,
got
it's
level one
it's more
skill,
like
fuck
it's
you.
because he's called a defective class for a reason because no one knows what his like no one knows the true abilities of his class.
Yeah. It seems like nobody in this world like reads the like the text on their skills. Like nobody actually reads what their skills do. And so people are kind of just like, oh, if your skill doesn't deal direct damage, then it sucks, right? Um,
Mm.
so not the brightest universe to be in, I guess, but yeah. So and then after he kills the mob, they get ambushed by like a spider, right? And the spider thing is like twice his level.
It's
It's
level
like
16.
yeah, it's like level 16, and like after he kills the mob, he's like level 8, which is pretty fast. I don't know what the level cap in this is, but like he kills like 10 things, and he's already level 8, which is kind of crazy.
Well, he
Um,
was mobbing near, and it was more than 10. That's like
I mean, I
a lot.
guess, but yeah, it's just like damn, bro, because I think he kills one, and he gets to level 2, and then he kills the mob, and he's like level 8, and it's like, aren't these like level 1 mobs? You'd think the
These
XP
are level.
fall
Aren't
off.
these level 2 mobs? I think
I
they're
don't
level
know,
2, right?
but you'd think the XP fall off would be kind of crazy. Um, but anyway,
So essentially, what we get from this is that the author himself, while he is into like otaku works, maybe isekai works, he is not himself a gamer.
I think
Is
he
is
is because they do go pretty decently into like the
Yeah,
intricacies of
there's
the
a
skills
lot
and
of
stuff.
there's
It's
a
just
lot
that
of intricacies of the gaming
yeah, I
world.
think some of it is kind of glossed over. Just be like, yeah, he's level 8 now, right?
oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they fight the spider, and the adventurer dude is like, dude, that thing's way over leveled than us. We gotta get the fuck out of here, right? Um, and he's like, I'll hold it off while you run, right? And the main character's like, no, man, I got this. I got this. Um, and so he devises this strategy where like, um, he, because he can still really only deal damage with his like reflect skill. Um, but obviously the spider is over leveled, so it's got a higher attack stat than his defense, right?
Mhm.
But I guess his skill or his class has like a passive to where if he hits something with an attack, then it lowers the enemy's attack,
Near.
right?
Didn't you watch? He leveled up. He used the skill points. He leveled up
Yeah,
into his
yeah,
passive, and then he got the new skill.
yeah.
He got disarm.
Um, and so his strategy is kind of just like land like a simple blow, and then the spider's attack stat will be lowered, and then he can reflect, right? Um,
Mhm.
and then they do some shit where the spider tries to like cast some spells or something, um, and it like lowers this. It like I guess for some reason creatures in this world have like set amounts of MP,
Yeah,
which doesn't make too
that's
much
part of
sense
the.
to me.
Well,
But
that's part of the gaming stuff. Near
yeah,
he
um,
used a skill that costs too much MP, so he can't use his skill again. I'm like,
yeah,
it's a bit.
It's like
it doesn't
playing
like
Pokemon where it's like they run out of moves, start
kind
struggling.
of I guess,
It's a
but
bit of game mechanic stuff, but it's like
Yeah,
It's
like if you
it's
look
kind
at
of an
it,
ass pull if he's like
yeah,
if he
if you
can't
look
use
at
it
it in
after
the
only one
sense,
use. Yeah,
because if you look at it in the sense of like this is an MMO, right? It's like
yeah,
it doesn't really make sense for a mob to be only able to cast like a spell one time. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's why I say it's an ass pull in a way.
Yeah. Um, but you know, it's like whatever, right? Game mechanic stuff. And so he ends up pulling it off, and he fucking solos this level 16 spider.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Poison Beam costs 7 MP. Flaming
Yeah,
Claw is
yeah.
5, but he only has 11 MP. So he
True,
can only
true.
use one. After Poison Beam, he can't use Flaming Claw. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. That's exactly how it was in the manga too.
Yeah. It's kind of kind of doesn't
Like
make sense.
game mechanics, you know. So
But
it's, like I
yeah,
said, like it should have given him more MP than that. But
yeah.
for a level 16 too.
But yeah, so he does that, and then he gets like all these magic stones, and they don't really explain what the magic stones are for. I thought they were like enchantment stones that you'd like slot into your like armor or something. But he goes back and returns to the guild and registers with the guild, and then everyone in the guild is like, "Dude, you're a defensive class. You're fucking stupid and dumb." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna turn in all these magic stones." And then everyone in the guild is like, "Dude, what? Where'd you get all those magic stones?" And he's like, "I farmed them solo." And then that's kind of like that second
Oh,
episode.
leveling. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's an isekai series. It's got stat stuff. I feel like it. Again, I don't watch isekai very much. But I feel like this one is a bit more detailed and a bit more consistent, even if some of the stuff doesn't really
How
make
is it
sense.
detailed near? Is it
I mean,
GoHands?
well, I mean in
Got
terms of
that
like
GoHands polish on it.
I mean in terms of like the stat stuff, right? Like it
Yeah,
goes
we're,
into a
we're
bit
gonna
more
keep talking about
detail
the
about
story for a bit.
yeah, it goes into a
God,
bit
this
more
ending
detail
is
than
so
stuff
bad.
than just being like fucking Kirito just being like, huh, I regen more HP than you deal damage, and it's just like, okay, he's at least talking about the like
The numbers.
functionality of his skills and shit, and yeah, like the stat interactions and stuff. So it's a bit more interesting, I guess. But I don't really know. I don't really know what the gold standard is for these series. I feel like it's kind of like bare minimum.
Now let's talk about the
Hmm.
real meat of this series, near. Let's go on.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So audiovisuals.
So now that the story part is over.
I will say
Yeah.
though, pretty much near the anime is pretty much 1-to-1 to the manga.
Right.
Like
Okay.
even has the
Okay,
same
okay, okay,
has the
okay.
same like panels and shots, except for
Gotcha.
the additional stuff. I will say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Does it have the? I mean, I'll
The
get to
camera,
it.
all the camera
Yeah. Does it
stuff.
have the
Alright,
Yeah, yeah,
underground? Does it have the underground shot?
yeah.
That shit was insane.
Oh my god.
So yeah, audio visuals. Again, this is a GoHands series. So it looks psychotic. And it's animated in a way that is genuinely insane. This is not a compliment, by the way.
Like how could like
Oh.
really why would you spoil the most of the fights in the series in the first 5 minutes? That's like one of the most egregious things I can't get over right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're. I
Can
don't know
I
what
can
they're
I
cooking
also
with that,
say
but
that before we start our ritual 3 hours of ragging on GoHands, some people on Twitter were like doing this weird fight where it was like they're like, oh, at least GoHands it doesn't just shit the bed like how UFO table does with their average Demon Slayer thing, and
Okay, first of all,
then
they
others were
do.
just
Like
like,
their
no,
whole Gohan's whole thing is basically like that intro to the fucking Infinity Castle
yep,
yeah,
movie or
yeah,
yep.
whatever.
That's
Yeah,
Where
basically
it's just
everything.
like glass
Also,
is shattering and you're like fucking flying around in a circle around a beaker. It's like, yeah, that looked like shit when UFO Table did it. And guess what? It's like
It looks even
everything
worse. It looks
Gohan's
even
does.
worse when GoHands does it. So
yeah, even if UFO Table like shit to bed at times with Demon Slayer, that doesn't make GoHands good, and vice versa. So it's like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, you guys gotta lock in.
Yeah.
But sorry, I apologize. But yeah, go
So
on.
yeah, if you've watched the GoHands series, you kind of know what you're getting into. With this, that is, if assuming the GoHands series that you've watched is anything like other than Marduk Scramble, because Marduk Scramble is like good actually.
Maybe Capellion, maybe Capellion, except Capellion
Yeah,
wasn't that good.
yeah, maybe. But basically everything after K, right? Is kind of
Yeah.
just like
And K Project was like one of the progenitors of the current GoHands kind of I want to say phenomenon, charitably.
yeah,
But
yeah,
K Project was also like it was quote unquote tolerable because it was aimless. K Project was also very aimless, and it was mostly just like hot boys just walking at each other, right?
yeah.
And that allowed for
Shooting flames.
GoHands style to be much more okay than and like there was that green guy in a wheelchair that like had that battle where he was like shooting through a warehouse and all that shit. Like it's like full of scenes like that. And that's much more tolerable than whatever this is, where this actually has like a structured like set of scenes that it needs to go through. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so where do I even start? So the main thing that I guess kind of strikes you when you watch this series is uh and I'm going to talk about this before I talk about like the actual animation is the backgrounds of this series. So the backgrounds of this series are like this very strange like photo real with like a filter over it kind of thing.
Do you think it's supposed to emulate?
handshakers.
Do you think it's supposed to emulate? Oh, this is a VR world. It's an isekai.
I
Kinda thing.
guess yeah, I think it's supposed to be like
Or
emulating like
it's
3D
supposed to be like
graphics
a
kind of thing.
camera going into like a VR world kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like
I mean
it's like you're in the world or
they
whatever.
pull like actual like 3D spaces and stuff with this as well, which is even
Mhm.
more jarring. But like it is kind of like handshakers and to a similar extent, what the fuck was the magical girl one called?
Lumiere?
Momentary Lily.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that one.
That's one
I'm
I
thinking
thought.
something.
oh my God, Momentary
And
Lily.
also, I will say, this does. I covered this one as well, but like the girl I like forgot her glasses. I think like visually, like
Yes.
visually speaking, like in terms of storyboarded animating, stuff like that. I think this series shares the most DNA with the girl I like with glasses, right? Um,
Okay.
Too much hair,
and-
Aaron. Because
yeah. It's mostly the hair, but it's also like the backgrounds and stuff, and like the weird use of like real footage type stuff with like a filter on it. Um, the glasses series did that a lot. It was very jarring then. Also the angles, the angles that just make no sense. The glasses series did that a lot too. I feel like something like Momentary Lily, although I didn't watch, I couldn't stomach very much Momentary Lily, so I didn't watch it that much to see. But yeah, I feel like this shares the most.
I
with
will
Glasses
say I
series.
the only GoHands series I watched was the Masterful Cat one, and even that one had a
Yeah, that one
That
was
one was
pretty.
like
That one was pretty tame, all
normal
things considered.
yeah.
amongst. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was normal, but it was for Gohan standards.
Did
It
you
was
say
pretty.
GoHands near?
I did, dude. I did. They're the goat, bro.
Damn.
He can't help
Um,
himself. He can't. The fan inside of him is just
but yeah,
rising.
this series has this very strange kind of like filter over it. And the the biggest issue with the backgrounds, right, being this kind of photoreal, like very detailed um backdrop with like a filter on it, is it creates a lot of visual noise, um, even before the frame starts moving, right? And
Mhm.
as we know with Gohan series, the frame is always moving, right? So there really are not very many static backgrounds in this series, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you have the issue where the background is very busy, right? The background is also moving. And now you also have GoHands animators animating every single frame and every single jostle of a
Getting
character's
whipped,
hair
getting
and every single like plate of armor on these characters. That's another issue, is these characters
you
are
put through
armored
the
as
grind meat
well.
grinder. Yeah.
So there's even more lines on them than usual. And it just creates this like it is a mess when this series is moving, like moving, like action wise. This like it is like fucking.
It's
It
visual
feels like
noise.
watching like a YouTube video at 144p, right? Like even when it's yeah, like
I say it's visual noise. It's like, what is happening here?
yeah, it's really hard to follow. And I don't really like using the term, even in the context of GoHands, right? And this term's been around for a really long time, right? The term of over animation, right? Where people will say like, oh, there's like too many moving parts in a scene or whatever, and it creates like just like this issue where essentially like you don't need to be doing all that, right? This character doesn't need to be moving this way, or the camera doesn't need to be moving this way. But this series is definitely like kind of like the crystallization of like over animation, where there will be a scene that's very simple, a character just like walking down a hallway, or just talking, like turning around and talking to somebody, and the camera is whipping around, the camera's going under the earth. There's a shot in the first episode where the like antagonist chick or whatever, Malice, she's walking into the chamber hall, and the camera's whipping around her, and for whatever reason the camera decides to go underground, under like the tiled floor.
They have to show off the hair near all the
Yeah,
hair.
and it's like it overlays this grid pattern onto the frame on top of everything else that's moving, because again the camera is moving, like panning around the character as she's walking around all of these other like the crowd behind her and shit like that, and it's got this grid overlaid onto it to demonstrate that, like, by the way, the camera's under the floor right now, and it's moving alongside her with her steps. But regardless of the amount of visual noise that the scene is also creating, I was just really curious, and I went frame by frame as the camera pans under the ground, and the way the grid pattern scrolls along with her steps is not synced, right? So she is moving at a different speed than the quote unquote ground is, right?
Yeah.
And so it creates just like an even like further like almost like disconnect in like what you're like seeing and like supposed to be seeing. It's just, it feels like everything is kind of like disconnected pieces that are not moving in sync. And it's very disorienting.
Right.
So that's an issue.
If somebody brought up a discussion that became a little bit bigger, where it was like the initial comment was just like you can hear like the animators like screaming in pain as they have to draw this, and
Yeah,
they
for
were
sure.
kind of squarely putting it on the fault of the blame on sort of the direction as well as kind of the initial script writing, storyboarding kind of crew, right? Because they were the ones kind of directing, hey, the anime should draw all this weird crap, right? And then some other people were saying that, oh no, it's actually if you give the animators too much free rein, like this is the sort of like uncontrolled, like uncontrolled, I want to say, yeah, quality that you get. And I was wondering where you kind of fell upon those lines, because my opinion is that it's definitely, I think, more the storyboarders' fault, because the animators, if like animators are bad, there are definitely like a different set of problems that arise, but it's not the types of problems that you see in this series. In this series, like all the weird crap that happens is pretty obviously the problem with like the initial storyboard and perspective like setup design, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I would say if you look at the staff for this series, this is directed and storyboarded by Suzuki Shingo. And if you don't know, Suzuki Shingo is basically the guy that's behind pretty much like everything GoHands makes, right? Like he directs pretty
Yes,
much
yes,
everything
yes,
GoHands
yes.
makes.
All of the infamous
Um,
works that you can think of, yeah.
yeah. However, he doesn't storyboard everything GoHands makes, right? And if you look at his storyboarding credits, you will kind of see a pattern of like the things that he's storyboarding are kind of like the things that are really fucked up at GoHands, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The infamous like meme clips are pretty much like all of his stuff.
Yeah. So I would say GoHands animators are pretty good for the most part, right? Obviously,
They're doing
there's
their
some
best. They're doing their
yeah
best.
there's some like quality moments here and there that are kind of just like, man, you guys really phone this in. But at the end of the day, it's like when you're working on a project under GoHands, it's like, can you really blame them? You know what I mean? Like when you're handed the most psychotic storyboard you've ever seen in your entire life, it's like there's really only so much that you can do before
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
all right, man, like I just gotta get this done,
I
you know? Like I just gotta get this shipped and out the door. Um, so
oh my god.
and I think the general overall like animation quality within this series is it's pretty solid, right? Like I said, the character
Yeah,
models
yeah,
in this, they're quite detailed. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and you know, there's a lot of moving parts, right? There's hair that's flowing. Even the main character who's got, you know, he's got quite short hair. But his hair is just like always moving, and they never like, I don't know if it's like uh Shingo's like directive, like overhead fucking, you know, motto where like the character's hair never need like it can never lose like
Get a
lines. You know
luster.
what I mean? Like it
Yeah, no
always
lines.
needs
Yeah,
all of the lines. Um
yeah.
so like that's gonna take up a lot of time, right? Um and you know, um the animation overall looks pretty fluid, right? You know, despite the difficulty in following a lot of these scenes, you know, it does flow, right? It's not like completely incoherent, right? You can see um that they are trying to
Just
make
too
it
cluttered.
yeah, they're trying to make it followable, but it's just like the aesthetics of the series are just kind of fighting against them. So I think it is
Yeah.
mostly the director and storyboarding. Um, you know, some of it's probably the coloring, some of it's probably the background artist. You know, it's you know a combination of things. But I think at the end of the day, um, the reason it looks like that is the directing and storyboarding, right?
Yeah.
I don't think
So
it's
somebody
really
actually also
necessarily a fault of the
mentioned
animators, but yeah.
somebody actually also mentioned this is similar, going along the lines of what you just mentioned about um
Yeah.
Hello?
somebody tweeted out this screenshot of them like downloading anime or whatever on page, and some regular like anime episode was like 200 something megabytes, right? And then
Yeah.
and then this series was 400 plus megabytes. It was exactly like
Yeah.
twice as much in size.
And I mean,
And
I think a lot of
presumably,
that
yeah,
is probably from the backgrounds, to be honest. Yeah, not even so much
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the detail and like the animation. It's just like there's so much little like bits and fucking like brick and you know just like details and especially the trees where it's like every single leaf is fucking rendered like look at this um like this background shot and tell me that this isn't just like complete like visual clusterfuck of noise. You know what I mean? Um and like
Bro,
you'll
there's
get
so
like
much rendered. What?
yeah, you'll get like shit like this, and it's like the camera will be panning like through the trees and shit. Like this will be like
Do you know?
a
Do you know?
3D
Do you know what this
environment.
reminds me of? This reminds me of like how um like back in the days, like we don't really do this anymore,
The
but
heavily
they
modded
have those like
Morrowind. What this is.
no, yeah, I mean stuff like that. But it's like those comparison shots of like if you use this graphic card versus this graphic card, look
Oh
at
yeah, yeah,
Crisis
yeah.
3 or
The
what you know what I mean?
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
the
the Crisis
render
3 like
test or whatever.
comparisons, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. It kind of looks like those.
You get like a sick ass
Um,
like
Uh,
fucking drum track playing while the camera flies through this.
what
exactly.
what it kind of reminded me of actually is like you do you remember Grimgar?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this kind of like background style reminded me to like if GoHands looked at Grimgar and were like we could do that. Um
That's a
and it,
good example to follow.
yeah, they just like completely fucked it up, you know. Um but yeah, it's like visually it is just like a complete clusterfuck. I don't think it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
necessarily like I think it could look decent. You know what I mean? Um like the designs are okay. Um
They just need
the
to not storyboard like that. Just
yeah,
like any
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They need to, you know what needs to happen? They need to be like, um, they are like the one studio that actually needs to go full TQ and just be like, we're not having storyboarders or any of these guys. We're just letting
Yeah,
the
we just
animators like
ball. We
try
just
it for,
ball.
I think that extreme is almost better than whatever this extreme is. And also like the people who justify, like keep trying to justify this on Twitter are just like, excuse me, especially like some of the Japanese people, although a lot of Japanese people actually also dislike this. But some of the people who are trying to justify this are like, excuse me, if you keep complaining about GoHands like this, all you're doing is just paving the way for us to go back into like 7 frame static PowerPoint animation battle scenes. And it's like, you realize there has to be like a middle ground, right? Like it's not like
I mean,
we
it's also
either
like
get PowerPoint.
we are not in the era right now where that is happening. You know what I mean? Like Mappa,
Yeah, yeah,
Science Saru, you know, Madhouse when they give a fuck, like they come out and they come out swinging, right? And we even have
yeah,
fucking Side Games
exactly.
pictures on the field now too, right? Where it's like,
Hmm.
you know, these are studios that are um like really showing like the limits of animation. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
to sit there and be like, yeah, we're in an animation industry where GoHands is like pushing the envelope, and nobody else is doing it. And if you criticize GoHands, then we're somehow going back to like the status quo of like 2008. It's like no, it's just not happening. You know what I mean? Um, and I talked about this um like I did touch on this a little bit when I covered Fate, right? When I talked about, you know, the rising kind of standards that the viewer has for animation quality going forward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
To
yeah.
where,
And
you know,
especially after Orange too.
back when K stuff like K Project and maybe even to a slightly lesser degree, like something like Handshakers, like back when those were coming out, you know, you could look at like what GoHands was doing and kind of be like, oh, that's like novel. You know, they're kind of like they're trying something different. They're trying something new, and you know, it is flashy. But it's like nowadays, you know, when you look at like what Mappa's doing with certain episodes of something like Jujutsu Kaisen, which is just like this is a mainstream shonen series, right? And it is some of the best looking animation we've had in years, right?
Hmm, hmm.
It's kind of hard to look at what GoHands is doing and not kind of just like turning your nose up at it, you know? Um,
Hmm.
Especially with art style decisions like this, storyboarding decisions like this, where it's just like truly bizarre, right? Like you can watch it and be like, that's funny, but it's not really funny in a good way. You know what I mean? It's not really entertaining.
Yeah.
I I mean,
and also
one of the main
the
problems I have is like literally they're introducing the main female lead like way too early. I guess maybe get like the main female lead is basically the clown girl, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, oh, she's here for episode 1, and then oh, she's here again, episode 2. But she's also the only person in the ED. I seen that ED near. It's horrendous.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
that?
I'll talk about it.
And it's like I just and like I said earlier, like you said earlier, the 5 minutes beginning, right? We're gonna show off all the major battles in this series,
I
and it's
really
like
don't
I
understand what
I don't
the
understand that either.
yeah, like the direct. I don't understand what the
and apparently
directorial
they took too
meeting
much time
was
with
for
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically,
it's like this 5 minute segment where it's just like, hey, look at this
it's
fight. Hey, look at
major
this other fight.
battles.
Hey, look at this
Yeah,
other fight.
it's literally most of the major battles in
And
the
yeah, like
series.
one of the fights is like the main character against Malice, the black haired girl.
Yeah,
Where it's like, okay, it's like this is happening at the very beginning of the series, right? And I'm looking at this like, are these things that have already happened, or are
it's
these things
not.
that are
These are
going to happen?
These are
Like,
later.
yeah, it's so bizarre. I really don't understand what the intent
I mean,
for
and
that
at the rate the
was
series is
outside of
going, the the clown girl might only appear in episode maybe 3 or 4, depending on how the raid goes, like how quickly it
well,
goes with the raid.
this is another
And
detail
it's
I
like,
forgot to mention. This is a 26 episode series.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
This is
So
26 episode
yeah, this is
series? Where did they get
26
all this
episodes long.
money?
You
I
can
don't know.
afford
Where did they get
to
all
not
this
use
money?
Roosh this early if it's 26 episodes. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm not really sure where GoHands
Believable.
is getting this money. Because I mean they've pissed away money before, right? Like we got how many episodes was? Yeah, so Momentary Lily was 13, and then I had like the extra like epilogue kind of thing. When was the last time GoHands did like more than 2 cores? Was it like W's or
You mean
whatever?
are you talking about like more than 2 seasons period, or are you talking about like a season that had like more than 12 episodes or whatever?
Yeah,
What-
like 12 or 13.
Um,
It's been a while,
I
right?
don't
Because
even. Did Seitokai Yakutomo have that?
Are we counting
No, I
like the
forget.
billions of OVAs that had? Wait, that
no,
was GoHands?
no.
Damn. They really didn't want
Yeah,
to
I
give it
don't
like more
remember
than season 3.
actually.
Yeah, like
I don't think they've almost ever done like.
yeah. So
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
where.
okay. Literally one of their like random like shorts that they did like in when they first started out alongside Princess Lover, they did 26, but that was like a short. Other than that,
Yeah,
they've almost always done 12 or 13.
yeah. So I don't really know. I don't know who's funding this. I don't know who's behind this.
There's
I mean, it's got a fuckload of
no way
producers,
that
right? But like,
there has to be like after this, if we don't get like posthumous like in or not posthumous, but in 27, 28, something like some corruption incident is gonna rock GoHands, and then afterwards we're just gonna how it's like because they also had that like Tokyo Babylon incident, where they like did like tracing kind of stuff.
yeah.
But like 2 years they're gonna get rocked, and then the autopsy is just gonna be like, yeah, they got paid by Cool Japan, like $20 billion to do Juukishi, but in
I mean, they are
exchange,
getting
like
they're
all
getting
the
bought out, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
but I
by
don't
like
know. I
Unext or
mean, this
whatever,
was
they're doing like a merger.
definitely yeah, but this was definitely like in production way before that was even sealed,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. They
yeah,
like they got paid like 20 billion, but in exchange, like all the animators just had to get down on their knees and start slopping. Yeah,
yeah,
slobbering. Yeah, it's like there has to be some crazy corruption shit somewhere, I think. But
but yeah.
yeah,
It's a mess, for sure. OPED. The OP is Awake by Spy Air. If you've heard Spy Air, you probably know of what
yeah.
kind of song it is. It's by rock. It's. I'm not a fan of Spy Air. I'm gonna be straight up. But this song is pretty bad, even for Spy Air standards. It kind of sounds like something you would hear in like a 2008 like Bleach game opening. And I use that. I say that derogatorily. It's not great. The visuals are also. I mean, they're a mess. It has this. there's this one really weird cut where he's like sliding back, I guess from like deflecting a blow or something, but he's sliding back through like a hallway, and then like the
Like
scenery of the
moonwalking? What are you
hallway.
talking about?
He's like he's like getting slid back from like blocking a blow or something, right?
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
But like the background of the hallway like changes 3 times. Like he's sliding back between like 3 different hallways, and it's just kind of just like, what? Like why? Um, yeah. I mean, the OP is kind of just like a bunch of stuff happening, a bunch of bullshit going on. And it's butt rock, so whatever. The ED is, I guess, a little bit more interesting, you know. The song is level 1 Shokugyo Ningen by Riona. And the song isn't like terrible. It's okay. It's a bit more you know, chill, kind of weird like EDM thing going on. But the visuals are very strange, even by GoHands standards. It's like this underwater kind of trippy, like almost like visualizer thing going on with the clown girl, where a chunk of it is kind of her just like sitting at a table, like drinking tea, and like watching like the main character on like a TV, which I don't really know what's going on there. And then the
Okay.
rest of it is kind of just like her doing a walk sequence, like various walk sequences down like a weird like highlighted street. It's the one. It's where it's the shot I linked earlier with the cinematic parallels between the Glasses series, where they have the weird fucked up shot where her foot takes up like 60% of the frame. And yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's very bizarre. She just does like a series of various walk cycles. And
For some reason, is she just walking? I'm like, oh, okay, that's it.
yeah. It's a bit odd. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily like bad, but it's just strange.
It's just
And there's
nothing.
also a shot at the very end that seems to heavily imply that the clown girl is not wearing panties.
It's
What?
crossing.
Okay.
She's just crossing her legs, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and you can basically see pretty much right up that thing.
Right up the alley. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you know, there's that. Yeah. Otherwise, it's nothing too stand out. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting showing from GoHands for sure. I don't know what else to say. It's a mess visually.
It's a mess.
It's got some weird things going on directorially, and
Yeah, like for the storyboards and like the pacing is fine, except for the
yeah, I think
additional stuff.
I
It's
think pacing
literally like I
wise, the
said,
story is okay.
it's
The
pretty
way
much a
it's
recreation of the manga, like story-wise. But
yeah, the way it's
that's just
presented is fine. I think the story itself is okay. Again, I don't watch very many of these Isekai series. It seems okay for one of these. Kind of like more game mechanic focused. You know, Isekai series. Um, you know, it's like I would assume it gets into it later, but right now it's not really hammering home the whole thing where it's like, oh, my class is like scorned, but you know, it's actually the most OP thing ever. It is kind of like, you know, at least for the right now, it is very much like, yeah, like I actually have to like think about how to use my class because it's like a high skill ceiling kind of thing, um, which is, you know, a bit more interesting than just like, oh, my class isn't very popular, but it actually it just one shots everything. Um, Even if like at the end of the day, like if you want to reduce it down to pure like components, that is kind of what the main character is doing. It's still like presented in a way that's a bit more interesting, right? Um, but yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about this series.
So what rating, what mal rating would you give this? And I will have to warn you that this has Heavy
Yeah.
Knight has received a glorious 7.04
Yeah, this is somehow
rating on
sitting at
Mal
a
because
7.0 on Mal,
this is
which
higher than I think both I think Tetsunabe and Danko. I forget, is it higher than Reiwa-san? It might be higher than
I
Reiwa-san.
think it
Wow, yeah, you
is.
got
Yeah,
the highest series.
Yeah, it's you
yeah,
got
yeah.
the highest rated
I
series.
got the
This
best show of
one.
the season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how this has gotten that high. I maybe like Isekai fans are just they're just that willing to like just consume anything. That they don't really like think about what is on their screen. I would probably what would I give this? I'd probably give this like what did I give Momentary Lily? I gave Momentary Lily like a fucking 1 or some shit, didn't I? Um I
You
hated
get
that.
a really low
I think I
scores. Yeah,
hated
yeah,
that
yeah.
series.
Well, the additional one was also the additional problem was also that it came off the
The
back
story
of
was also just dog shit. Um
yeah, the
for
story
Momentary
was
Lily,
bad, and it
so
also had just come off the back of it wasn't like inspired by, I don't think, but it came just a couple of seasons after, I think, or at most a year after Assault Lily, right, by Shaft.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like, okay, like we need to stop this kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't hate this nearly as much as that. Like I said, I think the story is okay. I probably give this like a 4.5. I think it's watchable.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, definitely below average.
but
That's
like
what you're
just
saying.
barely. Yeah, like I think the
Yeah.
visuals. I think if, for example, um, what the fuck's his name? Shingo. Like I think if
Yes.
he, after these first 2 episodes, kind of like lets somebody else storyboard, um,
Mhm.
and he's kind of just like in the director's seat. Like I think
Yeah.
this would,
Vaguely waving his hands.
They,
Yeah.
yeah,
they pretty much need to course correct and be like, all right, you've had your fun now, get back on
yeah.
track.
Like I think
You
this
don't need to
will
show
improve
anymore.
Yeah.
because I know Shingo. He did storyboarding for the first, I think it was like 4 episodes of the Glasses series, and then I think the last
Mhm.
like 3 or 4 episodes as well. Um, and like the start of that series was schizophrenic, right? But then like
Yeah.
it kind of like mellowed out, right? So
Yeah.
I think if this does something similar where he's storyboarding for the start of the series and then he hands it off to somebody else, and it kind of mellows out, I think this will get like drastically better.
Yeah. Yeah. For
It'll
sure.
still be like visually very noisy. I don't think.
But it'll recover. It'll
Yeah,
recover
I
a
think
little
it
bit.
will be infinitely more easy to watch. Um,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I think that would maybe take it from where I have it right now as at a 4.5 to like a 5. To be-
You know, actually,
it's not much higher, but like it's like middle of the road type shit.
can I ask something though? This quick question. I'm sure we'll revisit this question again once we get to the other review. Um, but which in your mind is more egregious right now? Heavy Knight being rated 7.04 on Mal, or Yanineko at 7.11 on
um,
Honestly, I
Oh yeah, Neil,
expected
you gonna
Yanni
cover that
Neko to
one?
be
I
higher.
believe in you.
I'm not gonna cover Yanni Neko, bro.
one of us says, yeah, well, and that's gonna be for later. But yeah. Anyways, question back to the question
Not
here.
me.
I haven't watched a full episode of Yanni Neko. However, Twitter really wants me to see as many clips as possible.
That's because it's good. That's
Yeah,
because
yeah. Isn't the
masterpiece.
opening so good?
Because it's really
I get
good.
that reference.
Um, and yeah, like we've all seen the OP. I mean, I linked it, right? I think Yanni Neko has this is kind of like two sides of the same coin, right? Where Yanni Neko looks good, right? Like it's got good animation.
Yeah.
It's got a good color palette. It's got
Mhm.
very good
It
audio
fit.
visuals.
It fit. Yeah.
And so I think it's an easier pill to swallow to see that like the masses are eating it up. Because like Yanni Neko looks good, but it's shit. right? Like it's just not
Yeah. The
like
inside. Yeah.
like it's just like nothing of value inside. Whereas this one is like it's visually like hard to look at, but I think
Mhm.
the story and like the interior and like what you're getting, especially if you're an isekai fan, like I think it's pretty good, right? So
Mhm.
kind of two sides of the same coin. I think it makes more sense to me, just looking at like the way the masses move that Yanineko has the rating that it does, than
Right.
this
Right.
one. But yeah, it's like I think both of them don't. They're not sevens for sure, right?
Exactly. All right.
All right,
Well,
my take is, uh, Neil, what was your score again?
4.5.
it was like 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.5.
My score is probably going to be right now. I guess I'll give it an 8. I guess.
Okay.
Oh shit! He's
All right,
hey,
so
you
if you're an
can't.
isekai
Hey,
fan,
you.
there you go.
Hey,
Ah,
I'm just saying here, you can't let this go because he just proved that he is a bigger GoHands fan than you are.
that's
I
true.
think you guys
That's
need to fight
true.
this out
That's true.
backyard after this
It's
episode here.
source material I really like. I'm pretty fond of, and like I mentioned earlier, it's very faithful. The actual stuff, the actual
Huh?
series itself, that I know isn't manipulated by GoHands, like the storyboards, whatever. The story plot is all pretty faithful. It's one to one to the manga, and the manga is also pretty good to look at too. So like the art style is from the manga itself, but the additional stuff from GoHands is the stuff that I don't like. You've already mentioned it earlier, like I'll keep going over the extra 5 minutes of fights that will appear throughout the entire, like way later into the series, maybe 12 episodes later. The introduction of the main female lead way too early, I guess. Like, oh, well, she's gonna party with her, and look, oh, she's the only girl. Ha ha
I
ha.
think they're doing that just to pull people in
Yeah, pretty
early
much.
on. Like, check out this cute clown girl, right?
Yeah, and then like,
Mhm.
oh, she's only in the ED, and then, like you mentioned earlier, I'm not a fan of this saturation at all and
Yeah.
stuff, and the weird camera angles. But that's a GoHands thing. That's like, I right now I can't get over it. That's why I'm doc. That's why it's only at an 8.
Only.
But if they course correct and like stick to its guns with the series and not like, oh, here's an extra 5 minutes of like, oh, Sakuga shots or whatnot. I mean, they can have it, but just like don't go overboard because this series is not really about the action itself. It's more about like, oh, here's the game mechanics and how you choose to beat it. That kind of series. This is one of those series. I get maybe it's because it's Go Hands, but this is one of those few instances where less is more, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
would
sure.
say. So that's why my
At some
score is
point,
an 8.
you can only be so much extra. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'll still watch it because I really like this series and the story, but I don't know. Go Hands it's throwing me off, really. That's why it's an
Yeah.
8 and not a 9.
Mm.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Nier, as well as Toast, for helping to cover this. Again, I don't even know if I want to say unfortunate, but it's another GoHands masterpiece for sure, in some sort of way.
Oh, Near, is this the
But
best Go Hands series so far, or what? Where are we rating this?
No, man.
definitely
No.
Marduk Scramble first,
Yeah,
and then
Marduk
K
Scramble is
Project.
like
Marduk Scramble way up there, and then afterwards,
Actually,
like a
yeah.
couple heads down, it's like K
yeah,
Project,
Marduk Scramble is
and
like the
then
one like genuinely really good thing they've ever made. And then it's like Marduk Scramble, um,
where do you think Capellion is on
SYD.
that?
Yeah, it's like
Oh yeah,
Marduk
SYD.
Scramble,
Yes.
SYD, Power Gap, Capellion, huge Power Gap,
The-
K Project, massive Power Gap, everything else. Like
yeah.
basically,
I
that's
can
basically
get
how it
down
goes.
with that. It's yeah. I have a soft spot in my
I don't
heart
know,
for
man.
K
Yeah, I think
because
SYD is the
it
cream
fits
of the
their
crop.
style, but
Yeah,
My favorite is SYD for sure.
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, anyways, thank you for helping to cover this. I know this was a very interesting pill to swallow in many
Wow,
aspects.
Nia, I can't
But
believe you took a bullet from me. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah. But anyways, this series, a light novel original, adapted into
Technically, it's webmanga
and
original. I think the web manga was
Oh,
first,
okay,
and
yeah.
then the
Sorry,
light
sorry.
novel.
Yeah. So yeah. Web novel original. Uh, Adapted by GoHands. Also, series name is The Exiled Heavy Knight Knows How to Game the System. Tsuihou sareta Tensei Juukishi wa Game Chishiki de Game Chishiki de Musou suru. Also known as just like Juukishi is the shortened version of it. But if you want to see, I guess, more GoHands flares in the isekai setting, please do check this out.